Hey!
Yo, 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 yo.
Jess Hilarious.
Good morning.
Charlamagne the God.
Peace to the planet. It's Monday. Good morning. How y'all feel out there? I feel blessed, black, and highly favored. Happy to be here. Another day to serve our beautiful listeners. What's going on?
What's going on? How you feeling, Jess? How was the weekend?
Good. The weekend was great. It's I did a lot of we didn't have the kids this weekend, so me and hubby just went out like every day. It was nice. He just likes to do, like the farmer's market and stuff like that, like really, really natural things.
Nature.
So nature. Walks.
Do y'all celebrate
a lot
today?
of pollen. Oh, Chris Brown's birthday?
No, Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
Absolutely. We are celebrating Cinco de Mayo.
You didn't even know it was Cinco de Mayo. You ain't even wish none of your in-laws, nobody Cinco de Mayo before you left the house.
It's still 6 o'clock in the morning, sweetheart.
You're supposed to do that at midnight. Hola, Cinco. Whatever y'all.
It's not like a New Year. What are you talking about? It's not giving that.
It is the New Year, right? No, it's the Independent.
It's an excuse to go out and drink.
Independence,
right?
But I thought there was a Mexican Independence Day too, though.
It's definitely not Cinco de Mayo.
I don't know. Salute to all the Cincos out there.
It's just literally
Appreciate y'all.
another excuse to drink. Another day to drink.
Not a person.
For black people.
Wait, Cinco is not a person, right?
Cinco is 5 in Spanish.
Okay, yeah. He said all Santos.
So, in other words, it's May 5th and it's Chris Brown's birthday. Drop a clues bomb right now.
Wow, you got way more energy for Chris Brown than your Mexican brethren.
That's because I'm black first.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's true.
And Chris Brown is from Virginia, which is a part of the DMV, so I have to celebrate him until 12 noon, and then we can switch over to the Mexican holiday.
The Mexicans going to remember that when the race war break out. They don't care. No. They're going to see what you're in life like, no, remember, you black first. Smaller, you come with us.
Not you come with us. Hey, yo. Bye.
And
How was y'all weekend?
Salute to everybody. I was out in Atlanta. They had Tequila Fest.
Nice.
Cinco de Mayo.
See?
No, but yeah, they had a Tequila Fest, which I DJ'd. It was like 7,000 people, which was fun. And then I went to Illinois, my own Illinois. I've never been there before. I didn't even know planes actually go there.
You are butchering it. You were just in that city?
Yeah, I was in the city.
And didn't even ask nobody how to say it?
No. Quad City is what they call it. It's like right near Iowa.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know where I was.
You're pronouncing it like it's Mexican. What did you say? Mayan?
Mayon. Yes, I was out there as well. And then this week was my kids' last dance competition.
Nice.
Last dance competition.
You can kick up your feet.
Yes, now I can relax on the weekends now. No more traveling from city to city to city, which was great. Nice. So, what about you, Charlamagne?
I do nothing but pay for them whack-ass fights that the Zone gave us this weekend. I paid that $89 bundle. It was like $90? $89 bundle, $90 bundle. Okay. Bunch of whack-ass fights Friday night and Saturday night.
Damn, you weren't pleased?
No. I mean, it is what it is, though. I'm a boxing fan, so, you're going to get that from time to time. But, goddamn, every fight? Every fight was boring? Every fight was lame? Did you enjoy it, right?
He said he enjoyed them.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, today is also National Silence to Shame Day. Shanti Das will be joining us.
Yes, indeed.
Nice. She comes each and every year for this. She's a music industry vet and mental health advocate, so we're going to talk to her.
Because it's Mental Health Awareness Month.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And also the Ellises will be joining us. Devale and Khadeen Ellis hosted a podcast, Ellis Ever After.
Hey.
Previously known as Dead Ass. They'll be joining us as well. All right, well, let's get the show cracking. We got front page news, so don't go anywhere. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news.
What about Happy Cinco de Mayo to your Chris? We're not going to do this all day, okay? I will not sit here and watch Chris Brown get more love than your Chris.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Well, let's start off with some quick sports. Now, last night, the Warriors beat the Rockets 103-89. The Rockets lost. Golden State Warriors move on. They won that series 4-3 in Game 1 versus the Cavaliers and Pacers. The Cavaliers lost last night. The Pacers beat them 121-112. Now, you talked about the boxing thing quickly. We can just go through them real fast. Ryan Garcia lost, right?
Yes, he did.
To Rolly Romero.
Rolly dropped him in the second round, and then Ryan just tucked his tail the rest of the fight. But something was up with Ryan, though, because now that I think about it, Ryan wasn't even trolling or making no noise before the fight or nothing either. Like he was eerily quiet for a person that's been off for a year.
Right. Now, David Haney also won Friday night as well. He
Extremely
beat Jose
boring
Ramirez.
fight.
Really?
Horrible.
Damn.
Now, what about Canelo Alvarez? He fought Saturday.
Extremely boring fight, but not because of Canelo. It's because of Scully. Scully was running around the ring the whole goddamn time.
All right. Well, morning, Morgan.
Hey, y'all. Hey, good morning and happy Monday. How we feeling? We good?
What's up, girl? It's Chris Brown's birthday and Cinco de Mayo.
Okay, all right. Well, for Shot Jazz Day. All right, so let's get into it. First on front page, President Trump had a lot to say about a lot in recent interview with NBC's Meet the Press. He was asked about Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was deported to El Salvador in what the White House is calling an administrative error, but has since walked back those comments, saying he is a member of the MS-13 gang. In the interview, Trump expressed concerns about clashing with the courts, saying that the judges are in his way in these deportations, and he also said he doesn't know if he needs to uphold the Constitution and give Abrego Garcia due process. Let's take a listen to those comments.
No, I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me, and they are going to obviously follow what the Supreme Court said. What you said is not what I heard the Supreme Court said. They have a different interpretation.
So he's saying that his administration is interpreting the Supreme Court ruling of facilitating Kilmar Abrego Garcia back here differently than, I guess, the rest of us. So this week on May 9th, the administration is facing a court-ordered deadline to provide an update on the steps that they've taken to return Garcia. So we will see what happens as a result of that deadline.
Yeah, the fact that people are just breezing by, he says he doesn't know whether he needs to uphold the Constitution is insanity to me, okay? Presidents are constitutionally obligated to uphold the Constitution. That is the oath of office. Okay? It requires the president to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Now, if y'all ready to live in a post-constitutional society, then you need to ask yourself what that's going to look like.
It might look like us having a military parade, so the president plans to hold a big military parade in Washington, D.C. this summer. When he was asked about the cost, this is estimated to be about $45 million. He called it peanuts compared to the value. Let's take a listen to the president's comments on his military parade that he expects to have in June.
We have the greatest missiles in the world. We have the greatest submarines in the world. We have the greatest army tanks in the world. We have the greatest weapons in the world. And we're going to celebrate it.
So that parade he wants to be in honor of Flag Day, which ironically enough falls on his birthday, which is June 14th.
And how much is that supposed to cost?
So this time, $45 million. In his first administration, he wanted to have one, and that one would have been around $90 million. So this is
it's interesting. In that Meet the Press interview yesterday, he was just talking about his trade policies, and he said his trade policies may mean children may have fewer toys that cost more. He said, kids don't have to have 30 toys; they can have 3. What about him in his parade?
That sounds crazy.
You know what I mean? If you want kids to have less, shouldn't you have less?
Yeah, it's giving Doge. Where's Doge when you need it, right?
When's the last president to do that? Who was the last president to do that, to have a quote-unquote military parade?
I am not sure. Let me double check on that one for you. Just before we get into that, I will say that he does appear to be okay with short-term recession due to tariffs. If it means creating the strongest economy ever, that's what he said. Trump insists that any short-term pain will far outweigh his long-term goals. He says the tariffs will bring manufacturing jobs back to the U.S., and it means more jobs for a stronger U.S.
I just don't understand how American citizens have to sacrifice, but he doesn't. Like, he shouldn't be throwing a parade that's cost $45+ million of taxpayer money.
That's not needed. So not needed.
If you want American citizens to sacrifice, then he should sacrifice as well.
Absolutely. It looks like the last military parade that we had was in Washington, D.C. in 1991 to celebrate the conclusion of the Gulf War. So that would have been excuse me. I'm like, what presidency was that? That would have been Clinton, the first Clinton administration, or the last Bush.
Okay.
I'm like the last Bush. I'll clarify that at 7 a.m. But yeah, that's your front page news for 6 a.m. We'll continue this conversation that the president had with NBC's Meet the Press.
91, that was definitely George Bush Sr. It was 91.
Okay, the old Bush. Yes.
All right. Everybody else, get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, let us know how your weekend was, what you did. Again, 800-585-1051. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Ray!
Yo, Charlamagne, Envy, what up? Are we live?
This is your time to get it off your chest.
I got an indoor pool, an outdoor pool.
We want to hear from you on The Breakfast Club.
We can get on the phone right now. He'll tell you what it is. We live?
Hello, who's this?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Breakfast Club. J.A. from Indy.
J.A.
What's up? Get it off your chest, J.A.
So, Jess, particularly for you, I know you just had a baby. You can relate to this, but I had a bad one-night stand with a lady that I did not know had just had a baby.
You had a one-night stand with the lady who you didn't know just had a baby, so you was like really
Correct. She was
going hard in the guts?
Nah, she was top heavy, so I just assumed that's how she was shaped. And when I went in to make the moves, she kind of started up top. Can I say that?
Yes.
Up top.
She's milk.
Right.
Milk.
Lactating, sir.
She was lactating, okay.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know any of that. I met my son when he was 2, so I ain't had to go through all those phases.
Damn,
But,
okay.
So I'm going in, and it started coming out. So it came to my senses. I was like, I will never try that again on somebody else, because men, we kind of get a little unique and whatever, and we like, hey, let us shoot it here. Shot on my face, man. Ruined my whole night.
The milk shot on your face?
The milk and you.
Correct.
Well, there's some great things, great wonders that breast milk works. Like it makes your hair grow, it makes your skin look good, it makes you smarter if you were dumb. And it seemed like you didn't have enough of it because you're scared of it.
I just wasn't ready. I ain't never been shot in the face before, so now I know how I feel.
Oh, God damn.
Goodbye, AJ. Have a good one, brother.
I don't know why we so scared of human breast milk.
Yeah,
we drink cow milk and almond milk and all kinds of stuff, but not the human milk that raised us?
Hello, who's this?
Hey, Breakfast Club. This is your boy Dingo. What's going on, y'all?
What up, Dingo? We ain't heard from you in a minute.
I know, man. It's been a minute, y'all. It's been a crazy year. I've been working, though. So what's good with y'all?
What's up with you?
Ain't nothing.
Oh, man, shoot. This been, this last week has been pretty crazy. I lost my dog of 5 years, so that was pretty depressing.
Oh, wow.
So rest in peace to my dog, MJ.
Is that like your pet
man.
or your homeboy?
No, it's my pet.
Okay.
It's my dog.
All right. You got to make sure now, dude.
Yeah. No, you're right. But yeah, I had him for about 5.5 years, man. It was unexpected. He ended up eating something that it couldn't pass through. So all y'all watch y'all pets, man. You just never know. So it was pretty crazy. But besides that, I've been blessed. Been trying to follow in y'all footsteps, man. I did a real dope interview with Chicago's own Katie Got Bands, and I got the full interview on my page. I wanted y'all to check it out. Give me some pointers, see how y'all like it. I think it was a real crazy conversation that, nobody's really sat down and talked to her about. Y'all remember Katie Got Bands?
No.
Dang.
I said Katie Got Bands?
Chicago. Yeah, she a drill artist. Y'all don't remember the drill artist? Katie Got Bands?
You know what? Probably if we hear a
King
song.
Louis.
Probably if we hear a song.
King Louis.
I just Googled it. I just Googled it, and I'm still not familiar, but salute to Katie Got Bands.
Mm-hmm. And fair enough. Well, hey, y'all want to check out Chicago's own Katie Got Bands, y'all go check out the interview that I did with her. It's on the Mr. Dingo page, DNGO. Just look it up. Y'all see it right there. That's pretty crazy, though.
Yes, sir.
Period.
Have a good one.
That.
Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, hit us up now. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club. This is your time to get it off your chest, whether you're mad or blessed.
I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress. Everything with me is blessed.
Call up now. 800-585-1051.
Not just me. I'm what the culture feeling.
Hello, who's this?
Yo, what's happening, DJ Envy? Good morning, Charlamagne, God, Jess Hilarious.
Good morning.
What's up,
you around? Good, man. I just want to call and get off my chest. I started to call maybe about 2 weeks ago after watching the preview of Sinners and say how we as black people didn't want to see no psychopathic, no lunatic type movie like that. And I went and saw it this weekend, and I want to give that brother y'all had up there who produced the movie,
Ryan Coogler.
I want to give him a round of applause, man. That was a good movie, man. I liked it a lot. Never judge a book by its cover. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend everybody go see it, man.
Definitely.
What you mean never judge a book by its cover though? What was on the cover that you judged?
Like from the previews, it gave me like one of them. What's that movie called when they had like all the weird stuff going on, and you just didn't know the gist of it. You didn't know the meaning of it
because
it was just so like psychopathic. Yeah, it was like
I get what you're saying. Because
I really don't. I really want to understand the message of this. Why vampires?
Right.
I didn't know if it was like they said the Ku Klux Klan was really evil demons around that time or something. I'm trying to get the terminology of it, but
you should definitely.
It was very interesting.
I get what you're saying. I understand your sentiments. You should definitely go see it again though too, because that's what I had to do. But nah, just from watching the trailer, you ain't gonna get you need to go see the movie.
Most definitely.
Yeah. One thing I saw that they said the vampires they weren't really portrayed as purely evil monsters, but just as flawed humans that were grappling with the consequences of their past.
So is that how all the people were dancing, you know, at the end and around, you know what I mean, when they walked out?
When they were dancing at the end.
Yeah, when they all left. After, I believe the brother got bit, you know, by the one white girl who was in the club.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't know, you just got...
I mean, Jess.
What's up?
You're a comedian, so you can catch this joke. Ain't that many black people finna get bit walking out no club, is it?
I'm like, cornbread was dumb as hell. You ain't have to walk that far to go pee, bro. Like, come on, yo.
In Cornbread's defense, he done peed in the woods a million times. He wasn't expecting no vampires to be in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of things you go in. If you're from the country, you go in the woods and pee, you expect to see a lot of things. Vampires ain't one of them.
3 weird ass white people walk up to the club and they say they gonna walk slow. You know what I'm saying? Just in case we change our mind. I'm not going out there by myself. I don't care how big and black I am. I'm just not.
That's true.
Most definitely.
Thank you, brother.
Yep.
Hello, who's this?
Yeah, good morning. This is Leon from Miami.
Leon from Miami. What up? Get it off your chest.
Leon?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Good morning. Who that, Jess?
Yes. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning, Jess. Good morning, Charlamagne. Good morning, Breakfast Envy.
Peace.
I'm just calling in to I just wanted to give a shout out to my wife. She had a birthday yesterday. She just turned 41. And we got the anniversary coming up in about a week. And we got Mother's Day, so this month is pretty much packed up for me. So I wanted to call and give her a shout out on the radio and all that.
Mother's Day is this weekend.
This Sunday.
Congratulations. Happy birthday, wifey.
Yeah, I know, man. It's about to hit my pockets real crazy.
I can hear it all in your voice.
No, that's why I said, what's wrong, Leon?
You must have got married on Mother's Day. You must have got married on Mother's Day a couple years ago, right?
I got married May 17th. Her birthday's May 4th, and then we got Mother's Day coming up.
Damn, so every week that's getting hit.
Yeah.
Cha-ching.
You feel me? But yeah, man, just call it enough. Glad I got through. Give her a shout out for her birthday yesterday. We celebrated that. All right,
brother. That's what's up.
Well, have a good one.
All right, y'all, man. Be easy, man. Have a good morning.
You sound so down. Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. We got the latest with Loren coming up. What we talking about?
Yes, we do. Today is the first day in the Diddy trial. Jury selection starts today, and I will be there. So I want to talk about like what to expect and how it's all going to go down. We'll have some exclusive insight.
Yeah, and I would love to know who are they looking to pick, because I was hearing old white people. I don't know why they said that this morning on 1010 Wins, but they was like they looking to pick old white people.
We'll get into it.
Okay, it's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get to the latest with Loren.
Loren becoming a straight fat.
She gets them from somebody that knows somebody.
She gets the details.
I'm the homegirl that knows a little bit about everything.
She be having the latest on this.
The latest with Lauren LaRosa.
Sometimes she have facts, sometimes she have details, sometimes she have a little bit of everything.
Well, it's the latest.
On the Breakfast Club.
Talk to me.
So Diddy's trial is kicking off today in New York. Diddy, who's been locked up since September, will begin jury selection today. So that's the process where they find the 12 jurors who will sit down. Now, the charges, for those who do not remember, because it's been a long time since the initial charges dropped, he is being charged currently with sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, Diddy has pled not guilty to all of these charges, but if convicted on all counts because he turned down the plea before going to court, he could face up to life in prison. Now, CNN is reporting that based off of documents that they've looked at, there's going to be several different topics that the potential jurors will be questioned on to see if they fit, including their views on sex with multiple partners, drugs, and hip-hop. They also might be asked about their feelings, beliefs, or experiences related to intimate partner violence, cheating, and relationship prostitution, the distribution of illegal drugs, the music industry, because they're trying to figure out how can they actually find people who are not fans of Puff to the point where it'll, distort how they make the decision. But
it's going to be very hard.
Exactly.
I mean, this is going to be very hard to find people on this jury who don't know anything about this case, who haven't been influenced by anything outside of what the actual case is about.
And that's why they were saying older white women, I guess, this morning on the news.
So when you're talking about the older white women, it's the prosecution team that is all white women, and it's actually led by Comey's daughter, James Comey, the old FBI director. And I'll get into that. But that's what you're talking about. That's the
no. They said that when they were looking for jurors, they're going to be looking for older white women, people that probably don't know much about Diddy, probably not in that hip hop world, that might not have seen that video. That's what
but Diddy wanted them crossover people.
Yeah.
And has been that for a long time.
100%. According to other reports, the biggest thing here is exactly what you said, is that Diddy is such a huge celebrity, and everything with this case, especially in the beginning with that Cassie video, has been everywhere.
It was on CNN.
Yeah, everywhere.
That video broke on CNN.
Yeah, so that's going to be one of the issues, and that's why Puff's team was trying so hard to get that video not to be used as evidence in this case whatsoever, but that was denied. So yeah, that's going to be one of the things. Now the jury selection should last only a week, so it'll only be this week, and then Monday the 12th is when the actual opening statements, which is when they get into all the stuff will begin.
I thought you had to have a jury of your peers though. Wasn't that? Or am I making that up?
When they say jury of your peers, normally that means by normally it's who, just everyday people. So they want people that look like the world you live in. Remember in A$AP Rocky's case, they were upset because the Joe Tecopina was upset because there wasn't really any black people in the jury. Jury of your peers normally just means that we walk out into the world every day. They want white people, black people, women, men,
a little bit of everybody.
Yeah, a little bit of everybody, so that it's fair.
Are you going to the courthouse? I thought you was going.
I am going to the courthouse. I will be there this morning.
That's what you went to the courthouse?
Yes, this is Romeo Hunt.
Really good.
An amazing black designer. Thank you, sis.
They let anybody in the courthouse?
Not
a shot at you.
So you do.
I wasn't shot me like this.
That was crazy. Damn. Y'all don't like my outfit or something?
Because it's very limited space. So I was just asking, how do they figure out?
It's first come, first serve, right?
Yeah, so it is first come, first serve for people of the media, they're going to check you and stuff when you come in, but it's first come, first serve. I did hear that there was a special media credential that you have to request in order to be able to bring in an actual laptop, and I've tried to reach out on that, but I haven't heard back on that yet. But I'll have my phone, so as much as I can anyway. So
girl, you like Kim Possible. You can get any goddamn way. Nobody even know how you end up in there. It's just I saw Loren.
You know this is a Diddy trial, not a Diddy party, right?
I know, though she gave
but
it looks good though.
It's
Thank
court,
you.
not the club.
If you guys are looking to see the outfit that Charlamagne is just so critical of, make sure you follow me on Instagram at Loren LaRosa, Twitter Loren LaRosa as
You're
well
on
too.
video right now, Loren.
I know, but for everyone that's actually listening in, because I want them to know where to go find me after this video, and they can't see the full outfit. And there's a jacket that I will also have on that makes it a little bit more conservative for the people.
Nothing about that outfit is conservative. It's just crazy how anything with Diddy, folks still feel like they got to dress like they're going to a party.
Up here in a cape.
Well, I'm getting
alcohol sprayed on your head.
Keep getting his haircut every single day.
Looking crazy.
Come in here.
You keep fixing that wig every single day and you still looking crazy.
All right, gals. All right, girls.
Oh, my God.
You set yourself up for that one.
Exactly. Now, I did want to mention, too, that today is the first Monday in May.
Yes, and it's Chris Brown's birthday.
What does that mean, the first Monday?
It's Met Gala Monday. So today,
so many things going on.
Chris Brown as well.
Yes.
Today, the Met Gala will kick off. The theme.
What about the Mexican Gala? It's Cinco de Mayo, y'all. Y'all worry about all the wrong things. I know you should be worried.
They do not
you should be very
have
concerned.
No Mexican Gala.
They
trying
do
to
have a
stay low
Mexican
right
Gala.
now.
They got a Mexican Gala at this place called Ice Dome the 10.
Wow.
They trying to chill.
Ice Dome the 10.
No, for real. If they throw a Mexican Gala, that's a trap. I just
That's
want y'all to know.
yeah,
You're right.
Especially if it's an open tequila bar. Do not go.
Don't go to the Mex Gala. The Mex Gala is a trap. All our Mexican brothers and sisters, the Mex Gala is a trap.
Well, the Met Gala is being highlighted and talked about so much this year because the theme is tailoring black style. It's an ode to black dandyism in all of its refined and sophisticated glory. It's based off of a book written by a professor. Her name is Monica Miller, and that book, just talks about how in the beginning days of slavery, we used things like dandyism and tailoring our style to, assimilate away from certain things and certain,
What is dandyism? I never heard that.
So dandyism, I actually printed out pictures for you guys. Dang, I forgot the photos. So you know how like Tiana Taylor dresses down in the suits, or you think about a Dapper Dan or Coleman Domingo. That is what people look at as like dandyism. It is like fine. It's tailored. It's
like Janelle Monáe.
Janelle Monáe. It is very rich. So there's an exhibit in the Met that they're going to celebrate tonight that is all about tailored, style and the ode to the black dandyism eras and what that has evolved to become and look like.
It says refined taste.
Yes.
Meticulous grooming. Attention to detail in dress and behavior.
And Pharrell is the one that's hosting this tonight, right?
Yeah, Pharrell is one of the hosts. We also on the co-chair committee have A$AP Rocky, Coleman Domingo, Lewis Hamilton, LeBron James. People are really excited to see Doechii tonight because
LeBron gonna be there today.
He's one of the co-chairs.
The Lakers got their ass bust.
He's off. He's off. He's on no vacation.
Oh my God, he's one of the co-chairs, so I'm hoping that he will show up. Him and his wife Savannah. But Doechii, people are really excited for her in this moment because she's one of the new girls, but she gives the dandyism vibe in her suits often. And
what about Jonathan Majors? He gives.
That's definitely his style.
He would definitely be on brand. Maybe I'm sure he's on the invite list. You know what I'm saying? But
Smoking Stack from Sinners.
Yes. Oh,
100%. 1 and 2.
That you must have been on Twitter because that was one of the predictions on Twitter.
Actually, I never be on Twitter, but I'm glad to know that people are thinking like me on there.
People feel like Michael B. Jordan is going to show up at just that Smoking Stack because that gives dandyism that whole era. People also are predicting that maybe Rihanna, if the rumors are true, might reveal a surprise.
Well, why you ain't do no dandyism at Diddy trial?
I have a dandyism fit that I will be wearing, also sponsored by Romeo Hut tonight when I'm out. I've been invited to several things, so I will bring back.
To Met Gala, though.
I'm not going to the Met Gala, but I'm going to a few of the after events.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see this.
You gonna walk in there and say, "You here to testify?"
Oh my God!
We gotta wrap up. We gotta get out of here.
All right. That was the latest with Loren. And keep your eye on Future, the artist Future tonight, because I heard he has something that he's doing tonight that's gonna be a little crazy. So Future tonight, he's going
for
to
the Met Gala carpet,
yeah.
And it streams live at 6:00. You can watch it. There's gonna be like YouTube streams, and major news outlets will also be covering Met Gala and the Diddy situation as well too.
All right. Now, when we come back, we got front page news, so don't go anywhere. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake up. You're locked into the Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's TJNV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get back in some front page news. What's up, Morgan?
Yeah, so we were previously talking about President Trump's interview with NBC's Meet the Press, and in the last segment, we were trying to figure out the last president who had a military parade, and in fact, it was George H.W. Bush who had that last military parade in 1991 and the conclusion of the Gulf War, wanting to confirm that for the listeners and for you guys as well. But moving on, President Trump, in that interview, he said he will not remove Jerome Powell as the Federal Reserve Board chairman before his term ends. Of course, he made those comments again on NBC's Meet the Press. Trump described the central banker as a total stiff and called for the Fed to lower interest rates. Now, the president said Powell is not a fan of his, but he expects the Fed to lower interest rates at some point. The funny thing is, what that also came up in the interview is whether or not this whole 2028 run is a real thing. He was asked about his organization website selling 2028 gear, and here's what Trump had to say in regards to being having a potential extra term, even though we know that it's not possible. Let's take a listen to President Trump's comments on that 2028 run.
There are many people selling the 2028 hat. But this is not something I'm looking to do. I'm looking to have 4 great years. So many people want me to do it. I have never had requests so strong as that. But it's something that, to the best of my knowledge, you're not allowed to do.
Yeah, so Trump added that he said he will only be a 2-term president and said he's only looking forward to 4 great years. Trump also noted that there are a lot of good Republicans that could be president in 2028. He mentioned J.D. Vance, Vice President J.D. Vance, but he also said he is not endorsing anyone at this current time. What do you guys think?
He said Marco Rubio as well. I mean, the thing that I found interesting about that statement is he said, when he said that, he goes, I don't know if that's in the Constitution or not, or something to that effect.
If it's even possible, I think he said something like that.
And it's just interesting that, it's some things he knows he can't do, and it's some things he claims he doesn't know if he can do. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And he gonna push that line and see what's happening with the courts. You're absolutely right. Let's switch gears. Former National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, he will face a tough confirmation hearing to become U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. That's what Virginia Democratic Senator Mark Warner told CNN State of the Union. Let's take a listen to his comments.
I think it will be a brutal confirmation hearing. Waltz at least acknowledged a bit of a mistake. I think he's going to have tough questions, not only from Democrats, but from Republicans.
Yeah, so the administration is saying that he was not fired, but instead promoted in a sense. Now, Waltz faced scrutiny and backlash for mistakenly adding a reporter to that Signal group chat that discussed plans for a military strike in his former role as National Security Advisor. And that seemingly has happened more than once. Not to his fault, but, just hex up. Anyways, moving on. Trump said that in the interim, Secretary of State Marco Rubio will serve as National Security Advisor while continuing his strong leadership at the State Department. as the Secretary of State. Yeah, so, and just wrapping things up, I think this is an important story. I mentioned it last week, but it is in effect, I would say immediately effective today, according to this. Federal officials say the government will begin collecting defaulted student loan payments starting today. So if you need those tequila shots, those Cinco de Mayo shots, you might want to go ahead and take those early on, and then get your points together. So the collection efforts will be the first since the start of the pandemic. The Trump administration said the debt will be collected through a Treasury Department program that withholds payments from tax refunds, wages, and government benefits. So they're coming for all the pockets, okay? The U.S. Department of Education has not collected loan payments since March of 2020. Officials say that in the last 5 years, student debt has risen over $1 trillion. So if you got student loans, maybe try to make those payments, make arrangements, or do whatever you can to figure this part out, because in the midst of what's happening with this administration, I can't but help to think, and this is just my opinion, that this could also be one of those things that call for punishment or unnecessary punishment down the line. So just keep that in mind. And that's your front page news. You guys can follow me on socials at Morgan Media. And for more news coverage, follow at Black Information Network. Download the free iHeartRadio app and visit us at BINnews.com. Thank y'all. Make it a great make it a great Monday. Make it a great Monday. Have a great week.
Thank you, Morgan.
Thank you.
I never know what day it is. Good Lord.
All right. Now, when we come back, we have the Ellises, Devale and Khadeen Ellis, and we're going to talk to them next, so don't go anywhere. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. Lauren Roques is here as well. And we got some special guests in the building. We have Devale and Khadeen Ellis.
Good morning, my peoples.
What's good, morning, man?
How's everything?
I'm blessed, black, and highly favored. How y'all feeling?
I love that.
Blessed,
Feeling
black,
good.
and
Happy to be back home.
So good.
Thank you.
Y'all look good too.
It's a glow that I feel like I have the minute I hit LaGuardia Airport. It's just being back home in Brooklyn. I feel like it brings us to life again.
Now, y'all are here for a bunch of different things, but y'all rebranded the Deadass podcast to Ellis Ever After.
We did.
Let's discuss the growth of that title.
Yeah.
Well, it was a lot for us. When we first started Deadass podcast, it was Jess. You know, it was like we were joking about men versus women and what husbands feel versus wives feel. But over the course of 6 years, we watched how that kind of exploded on the internet. And we don't want to take credit for being the reason why there's a man versus woman debate, but the shit is annoying. Right? And we kind of just feel like we want to put out content that people can say, let's elevate and move forward. So let's talk about topics that really affect us. For example, we will take credit for this. In 2017, we vlogged our third son being born at home. Right, and we vlogged the whole process for about 6 months. Right. And a new study came out that of 2018, home births in black community have gone up. And we feel like that's a direct correlation for us showing young black girls like there's a different option. And the reason why that happened was because with our first child, we almost lost Kay. And she had to have 24 stitches, a cervical.
27.
My bad. Let me not take away your stitches.
Scars. You know, we had babies. We know what it is.
Right.
But no, you're right.
She had to have emergency surgery right after pregnancy, and we did a lot of studies on black maternal health, and we was like, let's just use our platform to focus on positivity. So we said Ellis Ever After is the change, because this is us after we've evolved as humans, gone to therapy, worked on being a better couple, worked on being a better people. So that's what it's about.
So it had nothing to do with moving out of New York and not even using the term dead ass no more?
No, we still use that.
Tim's with y'all.
We sure did. We sure did. And the crazy part about it, we had to fight for the name Deadass initially because, you know, if you're not from New York and if you're at these companies that have, you know, mostly white folks, that's just like, we don't know what that means. How will we ever get ad dollars behind a name like that? They're not going to subscribe to that. So there was a lot of explaining that had to be done. But we stayed true to it. I think part of us really didn't want to detach from that New York persona for a long time. But it's time.
I do like Ellis Ever After though. Who made that up? Y'all collectively, or that was you?
It was him.
I mean, I'll take credit for it, but we always do everything collective, even dead ass. Like we sit down and talk about it, and we like, what you think about this? What you think about that? We had a couple other options. We also liked House of Ellis, but we liked Ellis Ever After because it was the evolution of after what? After all the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? After all the talking about what we had to do to get to this point.
Facts.
And if you ever followed us, that's what we're known for. We're honest about what we've been through and what we've done. We don't hold back. So
October's
that's what we want to keep doing.
What, 23 years in the game? Almost 15 married?
Yeah.
You know, so people have literally watched us over the past maybe, decade?
Yeah.
On social media, just putting our life out there, sharing with people.
Yeah.
You know, hoping people can relate.
Y'all are definitely the reference point for a lot of people because even my son's dad, Rome, oh my God, my first son's dad, man, you gotta listen to, well, this one was dead ass. Like, and even y'all shows, he follows everything y'all do, and he has 5 kids by 5 different, moms, and he'll listen to one of y'all podcasts and he'll be calling them. Telling them, no, because Devale and Khadeen said they was, and
wow.
He gets hung up on a lot,
that.
creates a lot of arguments, but he ain't the Devale type.
Yeah,
So
I would love to know how Rome can even relate.
That's what I swear I was over here like, the messenger is not the right one. Right. Yeah, you should just tell them listen to the podcast. Don't try to preach like Devale. You ain't Devale.
But it's right because y'all real life though. Like y'all, the way y'all be going through stuff on y'all. I watch y'all channel a lot. The way y'all deal with stuff. Y'all were the first time that I saw a young black couple that was still like regular, like regular, like y'all weren't so curated. And like I was like, oh, they probably hang where I would go at and stuff like that.
And we still do.
Yeah.
We walk around and people be like, why y'all without security? Why y'all? And I'm like, cause this is my hood. Like, what you mean? You know?
Dead ass.
So Rome probably felt like he could like relate to y'all because that's like a big thing for your audience.
I will say this about Rome, like Devale now wasn't the Devale when I first started.
Okay.
The Devale when I first started was probably closer to Rome. I don't know him, but I was immature. I lacked emotional intelligence. I didn't understand.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
That's not how Rome wanted this to go.
Rome, my bad. This to be a section on you, Rome.
I love Rome, but
But no, I take pride in showing the growth because I don't want anyone to ever be like, I got to be perfect to be accepted.
Word.
Nah, I was never perfect. I'm not perfect. I may again. Hopefully, y'all give me grace if I up. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I want people to walk around the earth feeling. Like, you don't got to be perfect for people to just accept you. And if you expecting everybody to accept you, that's a problem anyway.
And to
Some
be
people
honest,
just not going to accept you.
Yeah, to be honest, we almost just didn't do the podcast anymore. So last February,
Really?
we had a bunch of live sold out shows. Apollo, it was like historic. It was great. So we're like, you know what? Why don't we go out on a high?
Yeah.
You know, we did all we've done. I feel like we've spoken aloud, dealt with our issues publicly as a form of therapy through the podcast, right? And we felt like we've done all we had to do in the podcast space. And people literally were like, you guys cannot do this. And to your point, we meet people on the regular, in the airport, random places, and they're like, y'all can't stop doing this because you have saved my marriage, or you've showed me that I'm able to open up to my partner and bring up these topics that are once taboo or uncomfortable to discuss. And people say if they want to Devale, you have to be a Khadeen and vice versa. So tell Rome, make sure that he's on the straight and narrow.
Exactly.
I think one thing that is great about what y'all do is it's just open lines of communication.
That's it.
Now, regardless if you're in you want to start a podcast, that's what you should have with your partner. If y'all want to just sit in y'all living room every day and say, okay, we're going to talk for 2 hours, but we're going to talk. We may not record it and put it out.
Right.
We're going to talk. It's just about communication.
Encouraging that. Absolutely.
And you know what's funny? Most people, when we first started the podcast, thought it was so crazy. Y'all talk to each other? And I'm like, we married. Like, we married. Why? You talk about sex? You talk about money? You talk.
Or how could you talk to her like that? Like, people were offended for me.
They used to be real upset.
They used to be
I
on
remember
me.
they used to.
Let me tell you.
They felt like you were like the super controlling, like arrogant. This is all about me, guy.
They did, and
that was the farthest thing from it. I mean, from my perspective, but I get it.
Right, and I had to accept that. Because you have to show people over time, right? You can't expect people when you first put something out to say, know who I am.
Yeah.
It took years. We did our podcast for 7 years, 15 seasons, won a Webby Award. But it took time. In the beginning, it was so much like pushback. Oh, Devale arrogant, Devale ass. He always talks down. But what I realized, they weren't used to seeing an educated black man speak about his emotions. And it triggered a lot of women. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the fact. Like, I'm not going to sit back here and not say what I need and require because I'm also going to ask her what she needs and require. And I'm going to deliver on that. But now it's my turn to talk about it. And a lot of people didn't like it, but now it's come more normalized. Like, I used to, when we lived in New York, I heard Charlamagne every morning talk about mental health. My sons now know about mental health. It's not taboo
detail,
anymore.
yeah.
And they speak their feelings. Mom, I don't feel good about this. I'm nervous about that. And we want to keep showing young men like that's okay. You know what I'm saying? To be like that.
Especially when within our community, black men and women are always pitted against each other.
Yeah.
And if we want our black men to open up to us, why not create a space for them to do that? So I'm like, Devale, I want you to be honest with me. It doesn't have to be a brutal honesty, but I want you to be honest and transparent about how you feel, because I'm not trying to guess. Like, the good thing about Devale and I for the years that we've been together is that we've always given each other a choice.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the choice happens because we are fully communicative about the things that we want and need. So every morning I wake up with the choice to be here, and I decide to be here. And it's been working for us.
All right, we have more with Devale and Khadeen Ellis when we come back. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We're still kicking in with the Ellises, Devale and Khadeen Ellis. Jess?
I love how transparent y'all are with the public and even with y'all fans. Like, you know, y'all built such like a fan base for like marriages, and, you know, people who been even divorced, like look for y'all for look to y'all for advice, because y'all put it out there, the highs and the lows, right?
Yeah.
How do y'all handle disagreements in front of your kids though? Because if y'all real with us, right? How is it? And then, you know, parents, you got two types of like situations like that. A lot of parents don't like their kids to see them disagree
That's
at
not
all.
us.
Like that's not
That's
realistic
not
though.
us.
So
we handle disagreements as a family spot on. If we disagree on something and the kids are there, we gonna have a discussion. And the minute we have a discussion, I will go to Jackson and say, you see how I spoke to your mom? You see how I don't gotta be disrespectful? You see how I don't gotta raise my voice? Do you understand what it means to have empathy towards someone who thinks differently than you? And they be like, yeah, I see it. And I'm like, now understand this, me and your mom may disagree, but that's my wife, because they gonna be somebody's husband someday. They have to see what it's like. So I never wanted to put my kids in a situation where I was. My parents never argued in front of me, but then they would go in the room and be screaming and hollering, and I'd be like, yo, what is going on? Then your pops come out, you like, Dad, why you talking to mom like that? And he looking at you like, boy, that's my wife. Don't check it. And I'm like,
no explanation.
I'm like,
nothing.
all right. But then that didn't give me any emotional maturity to deal with my wife for the first 5 years. So there was a couple of days where I came home and I was making money. She wasn't working and the food wasn't ready because she had Jackson. And I'm like, what's going on? Because I'm thinking that this is what a man's supposed to be. And she was like, she from Brooklyn. She's like, what are you talking to? I'm like, well, that's not the response my mom gave my dad.
You see the neck and the shoulder starts to going.
I just started to realize like that wasn't the way. The stuff that we saw growing up, and we just felt like if I emulate this, I'll be successful, wasn't making me feel good.
We didn't know no better.
We didn't.
I mean, that's what you was learning from just observing. Like, there's no manual that comes with any of this. That's why I give my father a lot of grace, because when me and my father had a real conversation, and he told me about his mental health issues, and I knew about his substance abuse. It just made me realize, he just a man trying to figure it out. Like I was a man.
Talk about it, Charlamagne.
That's it.
2 months ago, my dad stayed with us to help with the boys.
Oh yeah, that's a good story.
And I'm gonna try to talk about this without crying, because I watched my dad and my mom came, and it was the same thing happening. My dad was kind of short with my mom, and I was in the car. Now I'm grown, so I'm driving. My dad gets short with my mom, and I'm like, yo, you having a little tantrum for no reason. I need to chill, right? And my dad looking at me like, I'm still your pops. But he's still like, you know what? We'll talk about this later. We go in the living room and we have a 3-hour conversation. And just like your dad, he was telling me all the things he'd been through, all his fears, all his worries. And for the first time, I saw my father.
As a human.
And I said, yo, you were just trying to do that. You got married at 21. You had me at 22, then my brother at 24. Like, who taught you? My grandfather was an army guy. Didn't talk much. You know what I'm saying? Do as I say, not as I do. Follow my lead. Like, nobody spoke. So after speaking to my father, man, my heart got so big because I saw him as a person. Like, that he my dude now. Like, yo, Pops, let's talk. And here's the funny part. He said to me at the end of it, I got to be better for your mom. I was like, that's why I'm trying to do it, not cry, because my mom is my heart.
Yeah.
You know, you grow up in a house and my mom's small in stature. She's 5'2". And my dad is 6 foot. He big, right? And I see sometimes my mom just be like, I'm not even dealing with him today. And I told her, my mom don't have a voice in this house because sometimes you don't give her a voice. And he looked at me and said, I'm going to do better for your mom. And for the rest of the week, I saw him try. Now, he still had his slip-ups, like we all do, like I do, you know? But he tried, and I was like, this is making me feel good, because it's not always about paying it forward. Sometimes you got to pay it back. Teach that generation how we do things now. And he's open to it. You know?
Our podcast, even, we meet people who are older than us, and they will be like, wow, you guys you guys are younger, but you guys are talking about things that I've experienced my entire life. Right. We've actually opened up the gates for discussions too with my side of family as well. Coming from a Caribbean household, like having discussions about how you feel about things, like that wasn't really a thing. And my mom has opened up to her son-in-law in ways that she hasn't even opened up to me. And I feel like as a family unit, intergenerationally, we're starting to just heal, so that way we can pass that down to our boys, you know? And to piggyback off of Devale with your question, Jess, they see sometimes the disagreements, but there is such an abundance of love in our house that we sometimes get flack for Devale, you know, grabbing my ass or, you know, walking past and kissing and, you know, Kyra, our second son, will be like, get away from each other. But the love is so abundant that the moments that we may have disagreements, it far is like outweighed by what they see between mom and dad and the love that we share.
I watched y'all on Lovers by Shan.
Yes.
One of the things that y'all talked about, I was like, you guys are so honest about this. The conversation when he wanted you to dress up like the maid.
Yes.
Or it was a maid, right?
It'd be a different character.
Because I don't know why I thought Friday in it, but
nurse,
when you said that you, like, y'all were talking about the fact that when he asked you to do it, you was like, I don't really know about that, but we can meet in the middle. And he was like, no, this is what I want, though.
Yeah.
And
very specific.
I'm like, yo, if I had that conversation in my group chat, my friends probably would hate my person after that because they would feel like, hold on, what's going on here? Because you should be able to make your choices. But for you, it was like, well, I want to make sure that my man, you know what I mean? Like,
because who are we trying to appease, the group chat or my man?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But even talking about that publicly, I was like, oh, like y'all be really getting to.
Well, Loren don't have a man.
Nope.
So like the group chat,
not even a piece of one.
Yeah, they
Not even his potentials.
I'm just
No
over here
potential,
lonely.
Loren. You're so cute. Look at you.
Thank you. I'm just over here
very
lonely
cute.
and looking.
Yeah,
She was with girls in Atlanta.
Yeah.
We had the Black Effect Podcast Festival. She was surrounded by studs. Then she went to Magic City, got with a stripper.
she was
living the ATL life. I mean, hey, like you said, YOLO, exactly.
Do you guys discuss how far you're going to go in those real conversations? Because getting into the bedroom, I was like, dang, nothing's off limits. I mean,
really not. Everything's pretty much been on the table with us. Like, there's nothing. And we feel like if we show up as our true selves, nobody could hold nothing against me. There's no room for you to create a narrative. You know, it's funny. We have with the evolution of the podcast now a new segment that we've introduced that people are loving so far. And it's called Op or No Op. And it's pretty much, do you have an opinion about this matter or do you not? So we've realized that with social media, everybody got a phone, everybody got an account, so everybody got an opinion. Sometimes about things you have nothing, no knowledge about, no facts, no expertise, but everybody wants to comment on something. So we're trying to now push forward. Now the Battle of the Sexes is done. Now we're trying to push forward, thinking to myself, am I of sound mind? Do I have the facts to be able to comment on something and have an opinion? Or can I just let some things go? You know? Like, let's start that as a culture. We don't always have to have an opinion about something.
Yeah, like I don't need to know if you think you can beat a gorilla.
Yeah, so let's start doing that. Like, what do I think about, I don't know, what's the scenario that's happening right now, current events?
Anything in current events.
Michelle Obama and the Barack Obama stuff.
Oh, and Kanye said, you know, he was his cousin's peeing.
So perfect example.
Perfect example.
Somebody asked me, how you feel about that? I don't feel about
How do you feel about Kanye?
Somebody asked you that?
That's how it be.
Somebody really asked you that?
I'll go do interviews. I'll go do press. Yeah. And it'll be press about the book, right? And the first thing I sit down is like, some guy, guys, you have a book coming out. Kanye West said, and I'm like, what does that got to do with my book?
Here.
Right. And they're like, well, what'd you think about it? I don't think about it.
Right.
I didn't until you told me about it. I didn't know what happened. So I don't have an opinion on it. And they're just like, you
How
don't?
did it get from your family to that he was?
Because let's think about the world, right? Bow.
Exactly.
I wouldn't even
exactly.
do that.
Exactly. So we don't even entertain it.
You see how they try to correlate it?
Yeah, I would come in on the family tip. Like, well, Kanye said he can't see his kids because he came out. I would have actually.
Well, I mean, that's how they tried to like.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's clickbait. Because what they wanted was to be like, Devale talks about Kanye.
Yep.
That's ultimately what they wanted.
Right.
So we're trying to create a trend where it's like, say, for example, Charlamagne just asked, what do you think about it? And then the interview goes, I don't have an opinion.
And then now you're disappointed. It's like, it's like
you didn't get your
nobody want to hit. Yeah. Nobody.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about any of that.
All right, we got more with the Ellises when we come back. Devale and Khadeen Ellis. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We're still kicking it with Devale and Khadeen Ellis, the host of the podcast Ellis Ever After. Now, Devale, you said you wanted to bring up something on air?
Yes. Loren brought up the sex thing. right? And I do want to bring up this point, right?
Okay.
If a man says this is what I require, this is what I want, the first thing in the group chat of all the girls is, nah, you should be able to have a choice to da-da-da-da-da, right? But as her husband, I ask her, what do you want? What you require? And the minute she says what she wants and require, there's no negotiating. So for us, what we're trying to show people is that there doesn't have to be a battle of the sexes. She said that her man want this, she gonna do it. He said his wife want this, he gonna do it.
And why would we not want to do that for each other? Because who else am I doing it for?
I'm not pledging allegiance to my gender. I'm pledging allegiance to my partner. Like this is
that's a bar there.
For the rest of make sure y'all get that on camera, you know what I'm saying?
Do this one.
Make sure you got that when I seen that. My eyes were big. I'm not pledging allegiance to my gender. Pledging allegiance to my partner.
Put that right in there.
Partner. You got it? But seriously though, that's why it's easy for me to just be honest. Because it's just like, if your boys are upset, man, you said that? Yeah, so like, well, you're not gonna do nothing for me. So yeah, so my wife wants this what I'm doing is a problem.
Well, I could if you let me do you like Kanye did.
He'll never miss a moment.
What happens in those moments though where you or her are like, yeah, nah, but I'm just sitting on it, I don't want to do that?
Then we talk about it. And I like, seriously, there's been times like, I'm like, yo, you ain't gonna dress up on that, right? She's just like, I'm like, word.
Rain check. I'm a rain check queen. And I'd be like, can I rain check that?
She rain
for
check.
another
But
day?
then in the morning, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna get a tap and I'm gonna open my eyes and she gonna be in that nurse outfit or something. Because sometimes she's not in the mood.
Right. Yeah. We get it.
And then you gotta understand that as a man. Like,
businesses, there's stuff going on. You
nah,
know,
you ain't trying night, okay? They always tell me, we got the rest of our life, bro.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's never a deal breaker. Like, if you ain't doing this tonight, then it's gonna be a problem. Nah, you don't want to dress up tonight, fine. Well, sometimes she'll be like, you know what, I ain't dressing up tonight, but I'm gonna bless you though, and I'll dress up tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? We talk about it.
Find a comic,
you know?
Has there ever been a role that you ain't want to play? You like, I ain't doing that. That's not
we try to think about
one. I got stories, bro.
Or anything like kinky, like you ever dress up like a white girl and he dress up like the black guy and choke
like Dr. Umar.
She
was a white girl. I was Dr. Umar, and no.
You know
My bad, Dr. Umar. I know that's not sacrilegious to you. I don't want to go there with you. But that would actually be a really good role play. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny.
Shut up. Take this back. Sorry.
This one time in California.
Yes, I know that's where you was going, bro.
So
I was very specific.
He was specific. What did you ask for? It was like down to a detail. I had color contacts and I think I had done like a photo shoot or something.
This is funny, right? She did a photo shoot with Janelle. But she had on these hazel color contacts. She had on this big curly like wig,
it was
wig,
like a big
right?
wig. I look like different.
She didn't like herself, like somebody else. So I was like, yo, I want you to put on that. Put on a cheerleader outfit.
The
put on some
cheerleader outfit,
heels.
that's what it was.
Bomb, right? So now she's like, I got you, babe. This was New Year. We were at our parents' house. We was having quiet sex for a couple days, so we was over it.
Right.
Like, I don't want no more. I'm trying to back. You know what I'm saying?
All that.
So we get home in Cali, right? I'm like, ready. I'm sitting at the edge of the bed. I'm waiting. She come out. There's no weave. There was no contacts, and she had on a leotard.
It was this real cute savage 50. Like the 50 we had that 50 pull you in. Crotchless. Yeah. It was a vibe. I had a little thigh high to go with it. And I was like, this is fire.
Nah, it's not what I asked.
And he was like, yo,
this is literally what happened.
Like, that's not what I asked for.
She walked over all seductively. Like, she had music. We had a fireplace. She put the fireplace on.
I was setting the mood.
She was sexy,
the
right? I'm sitting
was
there like this. I'm straight face. Like this, right? So she get down. She got her hands on my knees. She going down. Like, then she get to the bottom and she like, what's up? Like, this is like, what's this?
This is not on brand for you, sir.
I'm like, where the contacts? She's like, Devale, I'm downstairs right now handling business. I said, no weave, no contact, and you got on this dirty ass leotard. That's Savage 50.
I said dusty.
I said dusty.
And she said dusty. No, she shouldn't have. That's not.
This dusty ass leotard. I'm like, first of all, it's not a leotard, it's a teddy. And I had
it was stained up.
It was
no. I said dusty because it wasn't what I wanted.
It wasn't what he wanted.
I was just mad.
I
was just mad.
He was mad, and I was like, so because you did not get exactly what you asked for, it's a problem. I'm still here to do the job.
And she didn't even have heels on, so I got mad, right? So I got up and I go in the bathroom, right? But it just so happened when I walk in the bathroom, I seen all her heels lined up in the closet. And we had just moved to this big house. I said, you got all these heels here? You ain't put no heels on. So I go in there and I throw all the heels out the closet.
What the f***?
He sure did.
Now, this is the funny thing. She goes,
and I'm standing up. I was like, you gotta pick every shoe up. Are you kidding me?
She says to me, look at your stupid ass. In there throwing heels around and you're still hard. That's what broke me out of it. That's what broke me out. I looked at her. I started laughing, and we started laughing. After that, it was a wrap. It was just like, yo, look at us. Yeah, it was like, look at us. Look at us.
I can pick all the shoes up.
Yeah, so the shoes, we sat there, we picked the shoes up, then we got in there.
That was the one time, it's like, he asked for one thing, and I was like, here, I'm doing something else cute, and he was like.
Sound like y'all was role playing.
Yeah.
He was.
Y'all never,
it's
marriage, yo, that's fun.
That sounds like a Tyler Perry scene.
No.
You throwing the heels, look at you. Throwing these heels, and you still hard.
Right.
Swinging. Yeah.
No. Did y'all never thought about doing a reality show?
We've turned down several offers.
Y'all do it on your YouTube channel, so why not?
This is crazy.
That's
because
in part why.
We control
everything.
One thing I fear, because we sat down with, and I don't want to put producers out there. We sat down with a number of producers, right? This is always the first thing. Come on, so I know y'all you're perfect. I get it, right? So there's nothing, like, you don't have anybody, like, she's not, and I'm like, the first meeting, you're coming to me and asking me disparaging things that I could say about my wife.
Wow.
Like, I'm not doing this.
I get it.
I got 4 sons, and that's what you want me to do?
Right.
No, I personally, I know this is going to get some slack, but I love Bill Cosby, right? Not for the things that he did, but for what he represented. This man was so brilliant in the fact that he had a black psychologist on the set of the Cosby Show every day to make sure that everything they put out didn't show black people in a disparaging way. Right? Like, when you think about the Cosby Show, A Different World, Lil Bill, this is the content we want to create. We have a cartoon series that we've been pitching about our kids called The Ellis in the Time Machine, because we wrote a book called The Ellis in the Time Machine, Why Do We Have to Say Black Lives Matter? And it's an animated series about history. These are the things I want to do. I don't want to get on television and argue with my wife about trivial stuff. I'm also not going to include my friends, right? For example, you friends with Jess Hilarious? What's she like? I know that's the stuff they ask. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. So we said we're not doing the reality show thing unless we own it.
Listen, man, Devale and Khadeen, Ellis, I love talking to y'all because growing as individuals is a lot by itself, but growing as a couple is insanity. If you're not constantly communicating, you might wake up one day and not know who that person is. So we can learn anything from y'all is to constantly communicate with your partner.
Yes, sir.
Indeed. And thanks for growing with us too, Charlamagne. I mean, we've been on the Breakfast Club a couple times
over
the course of the years. Our third time. So I appreciate you for always rocking with us.
And we appreciate
you. And it's so great to meet y'all in this space. Congratulations.
Stop what y'all doing.
Thank you.
That's work that y'all doing, and y'all making other people do it.
Same thing here. Like, the things y'all are doing here, talking about mental health, I can't stand politics because it gets on my nerves, but bringing the information to people is all we can do, right? The greatest thing you can give humans is inspiration.
That's right.
And the Breakfast Club is inspiring people. I hope y'all know that. We appreciate y'all, man. This has been a part of our lives since living here.
Thank you, Lord.
Yes, and my kids know y'all too.
They sure do.
The kids listen.
We keep them still very, very New York.
That's
very New York.
Thank you.
Let's get to the latest one.
Loren becoming a straight fan.
She gets to be somebody that knows somebody.
She gets the details.
I'm the homegirl that knows a little bit about everything.
She be having the latest on you.
The latest with Loren LaRosa.
Sometimes she have facts, sometimes she have details, sometimes she have a little bit of everything.
What was the latest?
On the Breakfast Club.
Talk to me.
Michelle Evans, who has come out and claimed in now a civil suit that Shannon Sharp sexually assaulted her, has spoken out in an interview about the allegations. Let's take a listen to Michelle speaking on her alleged rape.
What happened that day?
It was fighting. It was the biggest argument that we ever got in. You know, he was manhandling me beforehand, and he wanted to have sex, and I told him no, because you gave it to somebody else. I didn't only tell him no, I told him why. He wouldn't take no for an answer, so he overpowered me, put me to my knees, put his penis in my mouth, and after he got enough of that, he put me on the bed, and, you know, this was all a struggle. So I had said no. It was the hardest. Yeah, this is too hard. I remember he got dressed. He knew what he did, and so, you know, I just kind of escorted him out the door.
Yeah.
You just smelling that?
No, I was talking about the smell, but go ahead.
Oh, never mind.
What? Oh.
I smelled it earlier, though. I know what you're talking about.
All right.
And then she talks about, because I think a lot of people have a question of why didn't she go and file a police report at the time? She talks about that as well. Let's take a listen.
He started coming at me. If I tell anybody, he'll use everybody he knows to destroy me, which he basically has. Then he started making other threats against my life. He just was so worried that it would get out, and I wasn't going to do anything. He told me he was watching me, and all that. I just went and got a protective order. Unfortunately, shortly after, he doxed me, and my address got out, and I had somebody stop by my apartment, and somebody came up to my door and said, "Shut up," screamed it at the top of their lungs. And I had my daughter in there right there, and I was like, oh no. And so I went and I dropped it, because also at my house, somebody came and sat out front in the driveway while my daughter was there alone.
Why didn't you file a police report when he raped you?
Because I was scared for my life. Everybody he knows, and he knows lots of police officers. So I didn't know that if I went down there, that would be one of the people that he knows.
Now, this has been an interesting conversation following the claims that have come from the $50 million lawsuit that was filed by the OnlyFans woman that Shannon Sharpe also named. Because even in this interview, she speaks directly to her, and she's like, I know what you're going through, because the same thing happened to me. She mentioned that her address allegedly was leaked. She also talked about a time where she was working at CNN, and Shannon Sharpe had gotten an interview with the job, and during the interview he talked about the fact that the protective order was dropped, but it was centered allegedly at that time as if it was dropped because it wasn't substantial. Right. She said that it went a different way. Let's take a listen to this last audio.
But then he started going on television. He came to my job, Turner Broadcasting, went on TV at CNN, and it was my job to put the videos from up to YouTube for CNN. So I'm putting up this video, and here I see Shannon at my job talking about domestic violence, and the co-host mentioned that, you had one that was just totally dropped, made it look like the police dropped it, not that I had gone down and withdrawn it. It had created a picture that wasn't accurate.
Now, she's
so
claiming...
she had pressed charges against Shannon back in the day?
She had asked for a protective order, which would make it where he can't come within, like a certain radius of her and things of that nature.
She did it back then, or she didn't?
She did it back then, okay. But she said that so according to Michelle Evans, she went to, police and said, can y'all just drop this? I wanted to go away, because she alleges that she was basically being taunted. People would pop up and her daughter was around, so she didn't want her daughter, anything to happen. She feared for her life, allegedly, right? But when Shannon Sharpe's team responded to this, they called her claims ridiculous and completely without merit. They say that, and then they point to the fact that this case is still ongoing, the defamation suit that she filed in 2023, and that a judge denied her request for an order of protection. And he had mentioned this in the beginning, probably a couple weeks ago. He dropped a statement that I received, and they called this, just people coming out of the woodworks to try and share a connection with Shannon Sharpe in an attempt to profit off of a relationship. They say it's, her alleged targeting is purposeful, designed to create a fabricated narrative. But when this video came out, people were, because we were trying to figure out who Michelle Evans was. I think a lot of people didn't remember that suit back in 2023.
So this is all familiar, pretty much new.
That white lady name is Michelle Evans?
Yes.
So is that the Michelle in the live?
She hasn't confirmed that she was or was not the Michelle in the live, but I doubt it, because they've been going through legal litigations for almost 15 years now. So I doubt that he would have been on live with Homegirl. I hope not.
Well, you said 2023.
But this all of their issues began in 2010.
Got you.
Yes, and that's when there was, since 2010 to now, there's been a protective order that was then not a protective order anymore, and the defamation lawsuit that is still ongoing.
She was cheating on her husband with him.
Yes, that's what she says. Yep. Monique over the weekend too had something to say about the Shannon Sharpe stuff on stage. I believe she was in Indianapolis. She's still touring and hitting the stages. Let's take a listen.
Yes, I told that Shannon Sharpe, leave that white
Yeah,
what did she say?
She said, we couldn't really hear well.
That white Shalom.
Yeah, she was talking about the clip from her on Club Shay Shay where she's telling him to leave the young girls and the white women alone. Yeah.
Crazy.
So all of this is one thing after the other with the Shannon Sharpe situation, but He still is denying all allegations.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Has he said anything recently? I haven't heard.
No.
So the last statement that he dropped, it was like early last week, which was what I would just read from. They basically gave this long statement that said all of this is purposeful. These women know what they're doing. Allegedly, it's a shakedown. We're not going to keep addressing these things because these are fabricated stories. And every time I reach back out for any additional statements, I did do that today because of the interview, and I did it on Sunday. They normally point to this statement, but I'll see if they give me anything additional.
But Michelle Evans is still married, right?
Oh, I don't know if she's still with her man or not.
Didn't she say something in the interview like I don't know if I was cheating at the time or something like that? It was a weird line that was kind of weird.
She couldn't remember. I thought that was weird too. She couldn't remember whether she actually broke up with, because she said she alleges that Shannon Sharpe wanted her to break up with her husband, but she got upset because he had a girl in his house that he moved out and then moved another girl in and she didn't know. So she didn't want to have sex with him allegedly the day when he showed up and allegedly raped her because she was mad because he was dealing with other women, but wanted her to himself allegedly. But she couldn't remember whether she cut it off with her husband or not.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is the latest with Loren. Charlamagne, who you giving your donkey to?
Man, 4 after the hour. Speaking of distressed white women, we need Shiloh Hendricks to come to the front of the congregation. We'd like to have a word with her, please.
All right. We'll get to that next. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
You're checking out The Breakfast Club.
Charlamagne, say the gang, don't get other Charlamagne.
You are a donkey. It's time for Donkey of the Day.
Donkey of the Day does not discriminate. I might not have the song of the day, but I got the Donkey of the Day.
So if you ever feel I need to be a donkey, man, hit it with the heat.
Yeah, it's The Breakfast Club, bitches.
Who's Donkey of the Day today?
Well, Ed Sheeran, Donkey of the Day for Monday, May 5th. Cinco de Mayo! Goes to a stink-ass mayo named Shiloh Hendricks, okay? Oh, the mayonnaise is heavy with this one, ladies and gentlemen. See, there is a human jar of Hellmann's amongst us, and her name is Shiloh Hendricks. Now, from what we've gathered, Shiloh appeared to hurl a racist slur at a black child. Okay, she appeared to call a 5-year-old child the N-word at a park in Minnesota because she said the 5-year-old took her son's stuff. Now, according to the person who recorded the video, Charlamagne Omar, he said the little boy is on the autism spectrum. So she called this 5-year-old little black boy the N-word because the little boy allegedly took her son's stuff. Let's go to KTTC News for the report, please.
The woman accused of using racial slurs against a boy at a Rochester park, captured in a now viral video, appears to have identified herself publicly in a sizable crowdfunding effort. A user on a crowdfunding site identifying as Shiloh Hendricks has increased her fundraising goal to $1 million. Regarding the incident at the park, the user writes, quote, "I recently had a kid steal from my 18-month-old son's diaper bag at a park. I called the kid out for what he was," end quote. KTTC reported yesterday that Rochester police are actively looking into the viral video showing a woman holding a small child making racist slurs in reference to another child at the playground who she claims had taken something that belonged to her child. The person recording the video alludes to the child being targeted as having special needs. On its fundraising page, the NAACP acknowledged the woman in question's fundraising effort, writing, quote, "Many of the comments from her supporters celebrate and justify her hate," end quote.
So much to unpack here. First of all, completely unnecessary. Okay, excessive use of racism. Listen, there's going to be times that the bigot in us rears its ugly head. Okay, there are going to be times when random acts of racist thoughts pop up in your mind. Okay, that doesn't mean you can act on them. I'm not going to sit here and lie to y'all and act like I haven't thought about these things, okay? White man cut you off in traffic, you're going to think to yourself, crack ass cracker, okay? I was at Universal Studios last weekend, literally about to get on the elevator with my family, and this couple, a man and a woman, I believe they were Mexican, they came running and cut in front of us and just jumped on the elevator and closed the door. The first thing that came to my mind was, now see, if I call lights, I'll be wrong.
Why do you think they were Mexican?
What you mean? I got eyes. What the hell's wrong with you? But listen to me. Everything I told you was thoughts, okay? I didn't act on anything because I'm not that kind of person. Regardless of what my mind tells me from time to time, I attempt to be the change I want to see in the world. I believe in equality for all. So there's no reason on God's green earth, other than the mental illness called racism, for Shiloh to be calling this little 5-year-old boy the N-word out loud. Okay, now, Charlamagne Omar asked Shiloh a valid question. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, "Does this child taking your son's stuff merit you calling him the N-word?" She replied, "If that's what he's going to act like." Let me tell you something. We all know that nigga's going to nig, but this little boy is 5. Okay, his behavior is simply that of a 5-year-old. What do you mean, Shiloh, if that's what he's going to act like? He's 5. Okay, 5-year-olds act like 5-year-olds. At 5, they're just beginning to understand social and emotional development. So if he took something from your son, then you simply find his parents, tell them, and then they can tell their child, don't do things like that. That's not yours. It's simple. But you a racist. So you was just looking for a reason to let the N-word fly. Now, would you like to hear the actual audio from the park?
Yes.
Let's listen.
Nobody dig into your
Kid just did, you don't.
That little kid, you call him a the little child?
What if he acts like one? He's gonna.
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child 5-year-old and the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act.
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know that's a hate speech, and you can be the that.
Lord have mercy. Now let's talk about the fundraising. Shiloh decided to become the victim. Okay, she set up a fundraising page for herself, which she titled "Help Me Protect My Family." Okay, in case you missed the news report, she claimed in the page description that she is now in a dire situation. She says, "I recently had a kid steal from my 18-month-old son's diaper bag at a park. I called the kid out for what he was. Then she claimed that members of her family are being attacked, and her personal information, including her address and phone number, has been leaked." You aren't being attacked, Shiloh. You are being called out and held accountable because you called a little 5-year-old boy the N-word. And accountability feels like an attack when you're not ready to acknowledge your toxic behavior. Now, Shiloh concluded her message by asking for funds to assist in protecting my family and potentially relocate. Yet another example that free speech ain't free. Why are you using words that you can't afford to use, Shiloh? Now, Shiloh's fundraising goal was originally set for $50,000, but as you heard in the news report, it was increased to $1 million after that initial amount was reached. And as of yesterday, Sunday, May 4th, she has raised over $624,000 because she called a little 5-year-old boy the N-word. And you wonder why some people spell America with 3 Ks. Now, first thing I did was look into the fundraisers policies, and Give Send Go, that's the name of the platform, Give Send Go said the company does not endorse or condone the personal views or actions of individual campaign organizers or their supporters, nor do we control the motivations of donors. Basically, is nothing they can do about it. Okay, there is no violation on their end, but you do know, Give Send Go, that you are complicit in rewarding racism. Call it what it is. They are rewarding Shiloh's racism. Only in America can you call a 5-year-old boy the N-word, okay, get called out on it, and then play victim and raise almost $700,000 because of your bigotry.
That's crazy.
Well, this is a free country, ladies and gentlemen, and there is such thing as freedom of speech, even though we know there is a cost to every word that comes out of your mouth. Some people are willing to pay that price, and in the case of Shiloh Hendricks, she didn't pay the price. She actually ended up getting paid. Just always remember, though, freedom of speech works both ways. So with that said, please let Chelsea Handler give Shiloh Hendricks the biggest hee-haw.
Hee-haw, hee-haw. That is way too much Dan mayonnaise.
Let Kathy Griffin get in on that, too.
Please give this giant jar of mayo the biggest hee-haw.
What about my guy, Chris Rock? He got something to say?
Cracker ass cracker.
Is my girl still working the drive-thru? She working the drive-thru today? Oh, okay. Just making sure everybody gets the right to express their freedom of speech.
All right.
That's crazy.
Disgusting. All right. Thank you for that donkey of the day.
Yes, indeed.
Now, when we come back, today is National Silence the Shame Day.
Shanti Das!
That's right. Shanti Das will be joining us. We're going to talk to her next. She's a mental health advocate, ex-music industry vet. She has so much to do with Outkast and those early days. We're going to talk to her when we come back. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. It is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes, it is.
What we do each and every May 5th to be exact, Silence the Shame Day, and we have a very special guest, Shanti Das. Welcome back.
Shanti.
How are you, boo?
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, actually. So 10 years ago, I almost took my own life. Well, it'll be 10 years in September. So this is like my year of rebirth. That's what I'm calling it. And I'm in such a good place.
Amen.
In space. And I have really accepted being like this mental health advocate and doing this work and not being stressed about going back in the music industry, even though I'm still proud of my boys like Outkast. Yes. Got going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And so it's good. I'm feeling really good. So thanks for asking.
Before we get into Silence the Shame Day and Mental Health Awareness Month, I do want to ask you, what does Outkast being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame mean to you? Because you was there from day one.
It means everything.
Day zero, actually.
Yeah, Players Ball was the first record I ever worked. And so shout out to Andre Big, the late Rico Wade, Organized Noise. It's like the holy grail, right, of music. And so they finally achieved that. And I couldn't be more proud. And just to have been there passing out like cassettes during Freaknik and, the Southern Playlistic Cookout.
Were you on the
that
documentary?
The
Freaknik documentary?
Yeah,
you was on
it,
that, right?
Yeah,
I did see you on there. When they were talking about you were giving out, you'd have to go there and give out cassettes and all that.
And to this day, it's crazy. Like, whenever I see Too Short, he was like, yo, you gave me that cassette and was like, yo, check out my new group, Outkast. They're going to be dope. And we laugh about it all the time.
Did you know that Outkast would become the global iconic superstars that they became?
I mean, you never know, right? But I had the O on my chest, right? The L on my chest, LaFace, Outkast. And I just was really committed and dedicated because I knew that the A was going to support them. It was a different sound. And in Atlanta, we grew up supporting East Coast rap, West Coast rap, but we didn't really have our own, even though we had people like Sade. They hadn't really received national attention, right? And we would always wear like Dodgers hats or Yankees hats, but finally we could wear like the Falcons, logo and gear and the Braves gear because Big Boy and Dre made that cool. And they really brought like Atlanta to the world, like Usher's doing now on his tour, right? He bringing the A to the world, but Outkast set that up initially and really transformed hip hop.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know they transformed Southern hip hop, but look at like a lot of the artists that are still influential. They're still from the South. And so to have been at the forefront of that and been right there with them, like, I can't explain it. Like, it kind of solidified even just me and my journey and what I've been able to contribute to the music culture. So.
Outkast is arguably the greatest hip hop group of all time and one of the greatest groups, period, in music
100%.
of all time. Yeah.
100%. Yep.
So when you started the show, you were talking about your rebirth, right? You thought about committing suicide 10 years ago. Now, with this day and age, what do you tell somebody that's possibly thinking the same thing? It's stressful. They're looking at the price of everything going up. It's hard to get a job. They're looking at politics. And they might feel left out. They might feel like there's no place for them. So what do you tell that person, especially in this social media world where nobody wants to be your friend and it's a very evil place? What do you tell that person, that individual?
First of all, it's like honor your feelings. If you're not feeling good, you gotta acknowledge that, right? I coined this new little acronym, RAP, rapping through your problems. The R is being able to recognize those unfamiliar feelings. The A in rap is acknowledging and accepting, right? That something ain't right. I don't feel like myself. And the P is being able to process through those feelings with a licensed professional counselor or someone, that can actually help you. Even if you call your PCP, your primary doctor, say, I'm not feeling like myself. So you got to be able to recognize, accept, and acknowledge those feelings. And understand that you got to protect your peace at all costs. You got to be unapologetic, right? Now more so than ever, because like you said, like, we're getting hit in a lot of different directions. And people be like, oh, yeah, we all in this together. Not really. We might be in the same storm, but we ain't in the same boat.
That's real.
Right?
No, that's
and
real.
whether it's socioeconomic factors, lack of access to care, like, it's not the same. And we can't pretend that it's the same. And I know we have people that, want to help and do more, but you got to dig deep inside yourself. Because even when I was going through my suicidal ideation, I had to dig into my faith and my spirituality. And I had to also talk to people and let people in. So that's truly important. And then I tell people, you got to remove things that aren't serving you anymore. You can't just be a people pleaser. Like, let go of the scrolling, the doom scrolling and all of that, and really focus and be present with yourself. And sometimes therapy isn't for everyone, but doing like sound baths or getting out walking, immersing yourself in nature, like, all of that really matters. And like, for me now, if I'm not feeling good, because I still go through my moments, I'll just get up and go outside and take a walk. Or I'll tell people like, hey, I need a minute. And it's okay. That's your time. That's your mind. That's your body. That's your spirit. So you got to really take ownership of your mental health and wellness, because every day, y'all, is something different. Like, I'm like, am I in a movie? Like, did I get scripted into something I didn't sign up for? Because it's really scary. I know you can't believe everything you see on social media, but I try to go to reputable outlets, right? Like The Breakfast Club. But I saw on one of the other outlets that federal government is considering, like, canceling $1 billion of funding for mental health for students, being able to provide additional counselors and that sort of thing in school systems across the nation. And that's really scary. And we know how mental health is affecting young kids because of this little thing right here.
That's right.
Right. And I don't only blame social media, but it's a lot of pressure. And these kids need the support. So y'all, we got to fight back in terms of protecting your peace, getting the help you need, reaching out to organizations like Silence the Shame. There's a super dope lady I met last week at the Accelerate Her conference in Miami. Her name is Shanti, and she does a lot of healing. And so she just talked about the importance of like really immersing yourself in these healing practices with everything that's going on, right? And so I'm recommitting myself, right, to whatever I'm doing is giving time for Shanti. If I got to set an appointment at 3:00 during the day for Shanti to like step away and take a moment and breathe or get a massage or do something, like, you just got to do it, y'all.
What do you advise for people to find their happy place, right? So I realized, like, my biggest happy place is my family, right? I can cut off. I enjoy watching my daughters dance. I enjoy watching my son play soccer. I enjoy talking to the kids, cooking. So I found my happy place, right? How do you tell somebody to find their happy place? Where, how do you do that? Because it has to be a place where they just let go and release.
100%. But think about some of the most joyful times. And I know everybody's life wasn't the same, so let me start with that. Some people did not have a happy upbringing, and I'm sorry for that, right? If that was your truth in your journey. But if you did have fun when you were growing up, go back to when you were like 8 years old. Yeah. Like, what?
You want me to play with Legos?
Whatever it is.
Joe's?
No, but you know what?
I mean, what did you used to do to make you happy?
Playing outside. That's why I love grounding so much. I tell adults that all the time. Take your shoes off, especially now at this moment. Take your shoes off, take your socks off, go walk around barefoot in the grass. Just run around the yard, breathe some good air, ride your bike. Like, think about how joyous you felt as a kid when you simply played outside.
I was over at my cousin's house the other day, and I started playing with the Rubik's Cube, and I was like, yo, I forgot how much I love this. And it had me going for like an hour. But just find things that used to bring you joy.
Get your Barbie doll, Jess.
Period. Oh, I'm already happy and overjoyed, so I don't need to go.
You gotta find that inner child. That is so important.
Absolutely.
All right, we got more with Shanti Das when we come back. Today is National Silence the Shame Day, so don't go anywhere. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. We're still kicking with Shanti Das. Today is National Silence the Shame Day. Charlamagne?
I want to ask you this, Shanti, about suicide. Like, sometimes, I'm sure you're familiar with the Mel Robbins let them theory, right? Which is basically let people make their own choices, like whatever it is they want to do. So sometimes you hear adults complaining, nothing is ever going right for them. They're always telling you, about all the bad that's happening in their world. They talk to you about wanting to commit suicide, and you strangely start to understand where they're coming from.
Oh yeah.
And you realize encouraging them to get help isn't working. So do you just let those people make their own choices? Like,
That's a really great question. It's a tough question at the same time. The thing about it, the reason why with Silence the Shame, we try to provide as many resources as possible, but you can't make someone do something, right, that they don't want to do. But you can try to be a positive influence in their lives. And so I've talked to people, who have been contemplating, and I've shared my story. That's why I think storytelling is so important. And people have to speak up and share their stories around it. I don't think you just kind of like relinquish everything and let it go, but you try to be there for them and keep encouraging them as much as possible and putting resources in front of them and showing them how other people have survived. Because, the last thing you want to do is kind of wash your hands of it and then, a week or two later, something happens.
Yeah. But then, yes, you're right, but then we also got to protect our peace.
Oh, 100%.
So it's just like...
So you do it to the extent, to your point, that you are kind of protecting your peace. Because again, people have choices, right? God gave man and woman choice. So you can only do so much. And then, our faith comes into play. I'm a woman of faith, and so I'll continue to pray for that person. So, yeah, do what you can as much as possible. Put the resources in front of them, and, let's hope and pray for the best. But a lot of times when people are in crisis, they don't know how to get the help, right? Or they need somebody to say, hey, I'll go to the doctor with you, or I'll help y'all walk with you through this process. And you can only do what you can do.
And you were right. The Trump administration did discontinue $1 billion in school mental health grants, and the grants supported hiring school psychologists and counselors, and it was funded by bipartisan legislation that was passed after the 2022 massacre at Uvalde, Texas.
Yeah, because see, a lot of schools, sometimes they might have one counselor for like 10 schools. And it's like the number of kids that are in crisis, like that's just not enough help and support. And sometimes they're not licensed professional counselors. They just may be social workers, which social workers are great. But oftentimes, if these kids need to learn how to get through the crisis that they're in, they need someone that's licensed, right? And more of a professional counselor. So, y'all got to call your legislators, talk to your senators, talk to your congressmen and women. And, we got to push back on this because we need that funding, right? We need to keep pouring into our kids.
I was going to ask, do you see the suicide rates going up and depression going up, or do you see it stabilize, or do you see it coming down with all the mental health talk and all the, platforms and places where people have to go now? What do you see?
So from what I think the last study that I saw was like from 2021 or either 2022, and suicide rates, particularly for Black youth, were up 30%. A lot of those studies, they don't happen every single year, right? Those large pool of research studies, but there has been an uptick, rather. Even just 2 weeks ago, there was a young man in Atlanta who happened to have gone to prom 2 years ago, and then some of my other friends' cousins knew him. He took his own life. So I still see, I'm still getting texts and comments about these young people like taking their own lives, and so it's still prevalent.
Are they blaming it on social media? Is that what they're saying it is? Or they're saying lack of resources in the school? Or like, what are they saying the reason is? I'm always curious because I just feel like, when we were growing up, we were just as bad, but we just didn't have that social media element where people were constantly going at us.
I don't think we had the language, nor do I think we had the same spaces to even express those issues. Like my dad was dealing with all types of mental health issues that he never talked to me about until I was like 40 years old.
But and we didn't know how to name it or what to call it either, right?
But even with all that, it's getting worse. It feels like it should be getting better now that your dad could talk and that I can talk and be open and Jess could talk. But I feel like it should be getting better, but it doesn't seem like it is.
Well, I don't know if I can pinpoint it on one particular thing, Envy, but I do think it is still a lack of resources in some areas because it's still in underserved communities. People know about it, but they aren't taking that next step. That's why I'm proud I have an announcement. So we created this PSA campaign, and it was around Black men's mental health, and it was called Healing the Spaces Between Us. And so it was a grandfather, a father, and a son. And we just got nominated for a Southeast Emmy, y'all.
Hey.
Oh, nice. Congratulations. So shout out to Megan Shorjo Pringle, who is our creative director in Oak Films, who put it together. But, we're really trying to push that narrative, especially to, young Black men and their grandparents and their fathers. Y'all get together and talk about it. Nothing to be ashamed about, but you got to put your cards out on the table and talk about it.
But last week was Black Children's Mental Health Day, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So 2 years ago, Senator Anderson in the state of Georgia wrote a resolution designating May 1st as Black Children's Mental Health Day in Georgia on behalf of Silence the Shame. We'd love to do that in New York, so maybe we could partner with the Mental Wealth Alliance and designate May 1st in New York State because, again, we're trying to just bring awareness to the problems that's going on so we can try to, cut off those the numbers, right, that keep increasing for suicides among Black youth.
Absolutely.
And this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and there's always a lot of focus on raising awareness, right? But how do we move past just awareness and start like action steps for actual healing?
Again, I think you got to meet people where they're at. Again, you talked about the uncertain times. Like part of we have a mental health toolkit on silencetheshame.com, a number of things that you can do to honor the month and to push resources out to the community. So one of the areas we're focusing on is fire and rescue because, we're seeing all these natural disasters and things happening in the world. So we're pushing out resources that are targeted, to the firefighters and to people that are out there on the front lines. Also, we did a toolkit for the federal workers, right? A lot of people that have been let go. I think maybe half of the people that got let go were due to the cuts within this administration. And so we want to talk directly to those that are suffering from a federal employee perspective, letting them know to establish a routine. Even though you got let go, get your daily routine going. Even if it's like looking for that next job, like establish a routine so you can protect your peace and practice mindfulness and reach out if you need support. So we're trying to target specific subgroups and people within the community. And so you just gotta be forceful in a way about it so that we are unapologetic about healing and getting help that we need, but looking at specific groups of people. Because we can all say we're all in this together, or mental health is important, we know we got to take care of it. But when you talk directly at a specific group of people, I think that's when you start moving the needle and getting people to listen.
Absolutely.
Well, how can people, if they want to tap in and they want to hear or more information or they want to help, how can they get involved?
First of all, visit our website, silencetheshame.com. Again, today is National Silence the Shame Day, and we have a campaign. It's May 5th. We just want people to get $5. And $5, I will say, if it's too difficult for you, please save your money, pay your rent, you do whatever you got to do. But if you can spare $5 or more, you can text the word silence to 707070. Also understand that 988 is a free resources out there. We recently partnered with the city of Atlanta. Shout out to Mayor Dickens and Courtney English, who came together with us, and we're pushing 988 out to everybody that's in, the city of Atlanta and beyond. And, just really trying to make sure that we're pushing as many resources to the community as possible. So
That's
please
right.
support us, y'all. Talk about it. Don't just, if you're a young person and you listen to The Breakfast Club and you are, going through something with a friend, talk about it. Don't just throw some foul stuff on social media about that person. Be the bigger person. Be unapologetic about healing and letting go of the things that don't serve you anymore.
All right.
Absolutely. And one more question, Shanti. There's nobody that protects their peace more than Andre 3000. Do you think he's even going to come to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
What's the under-over
ceremony?
I say he's going to be there.
I think he's coming. I will say I called both Big and Dre after, the announcement came out. And Andre, both of them were so excited. Dre was really excited.
Okay.
So we gonna keep hope alive.
It's Shanti Das, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Silence the Shame Day. Mental Health Awareness Month, of course, and we appreciate you for joining us.
Thank y'all.
It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. Now let's get to the latest with Loren.
Loren becoming a street fan.
She gets them from somebody that knows somebody.
She gets the details.
I'm the homegirl that knows a little bit about everything.
She be having the latest on you.
The latest with Lauren LaRosa.
Sometimes she have facts, sometimes she have details, sometimes she have a little bit of everything.
What was the latest?
On The Breakfast Club.
Talk to me.
All right, y'all. So Beyonce, y'all know how we have been talking about the Cowboy Carter tour. Well, she was just recently hit with a cease and desist lawsuit because according to the cease and desist, she was just hit with a cease and desist because according to the letter, she used a image of the Sphere in Vegas.
Yeah.
And she wasn't supposed to, according to the owners. So there is a man named James Dolan. He's the CEO of Sphere Entertainment. And he basically is saying that Beyonce at one point, because do you remember, or anybody remember when Beyonce was supposed to have that Las Vegas residency? It's been rumored for a while.
Yeah. And
she was in conversation, and then they said that the conversations dropped. They just didn't go anywhere.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, so it was supposed to happen. People were saying that it was rumored. Then it was rumors that she was in conversations with the Sphere in Vegas to do it there, but it didn't work out. So basically, she has this interlude video that she plays in the opening of one of her songs on the tour. And in that video, you see her walking. She's in Vegas. She goes all these different places, but she's in Vegas in one of the scenes. She's walking past the Sphere. So fans, they always try to put two and two together, started tweeting as if this meant that she was letting people know that the residency was finalized and would be happening in Vegas. So the Sphere, their team, they're like, you can't use that. You cannot allow your fans to think that something's going to go down here that is not going to go down. They also pointed to the fact that there were other properties in this video that she allegedly got permission to use, but she had never gotten permission to just use that. It was such a quick shot too, the visual of the Sphere. So since then, it's been reported based off of videos from people from the tour that she's changed that opening interlude and that visual of the Sphere is not in there anymore. But
so was it creating trouble or problems? Why was it such
it was causing confusion.
A bother to them.
It was causing confusion. Yeah. So
okay.
according to a statement that, the team on the opposing side released, their issue was that it was causing confusion amongst fans and amongst people who, spend money at their business.
So basically the fans were leaving a bunch of beehive emojis in Twitter and they was scared and said, look, don't show the Sphere.
Maybe that's what it was. I'm not for sure, but they wanted it down. A lot of people,
cease and desist though, right?
Yeah, it was a cease and desist. Yeah, but a lot of people feel like this was a petty shot from their behalf, from James Dolan and their team, because when all of the rumors,
you know who James Dolan is, right?
Yes, isn't he head of SEG?
He's the owner of the New York
Madison Square Garden, yeah, but that's SEG.
Yeah, Knicks Rangers.
Yeah, so but people are saying that this was a petty shot from his side of things because when the Beyonce negotiations that we don't really know the full gist of, so this is all alleged. When they allegedly fell through, they're like, he's just upset that he couldn't get Beyonce to do this residency at one of his venues. So they're doing any little thing to take a shot at her. That's how the fans feel. But, I think as a business, I understand. They don't want the confusion because anything with Beyonce, especially a Las Vegas residency, fans are going to make news.
The hardest thing to do is discuss business with people who ain't got none. That just sounds like business to me. Could it have been petty? Maybe, but it just sounds like business.
It did sound a little petty because it was a promo. So
Yeah,
I would figure that you would want the spare in your promo when she's walking through Vegas, because it's part of Vegas now, right? When you pull up in Vegas, that's the first thing you see when you're on the plane. Yeah. So I figured that wouldn't be a problem, but I guess it was.
Yeah. And she actually was given a deadline. I believe the deadline was actually today to change things. So, according to the newly posted videos, that has changed. But over the weekend, like, her tour was the talk of the internet, and it was because of like just little mishaps that were happening. And I'm like, with the tour going so viral for all the good reasons, you seeing Rumi, you seeing Blue Ivy come out and kill
Blue
it.
has been what?
Baby.
Blue is Lil Beyonce.
She is the one.
Hello?
But there were a couple of things that happened on stage. So there was one point where like Beyonce came out on stage and she couldn't find her mark. Like the X wasn't on the floor, which is really dangerous because she has this one scene in her tour where like these two like really big frames come down and like swing around her. So if she's not in the right
Just
mark.
gonna blow it up for people that hasn't been there yet and
That's
excited
all
to
over
see it?
it's all over the
I
internet.
haven't seen it.
It's
By the way, I did not see that at all.
It's all over the internet.
She was nervous. That was the first time I ever saw her.
I've never
nervous,
seen her nervous like that.
perform,
She was literally looking around.
scared, like, hold up. She never stopped singing, but
we also live in an era where people always look for the worst of the worst. They look for the negative, because the only thing I saw was Rumi and Blue and everybody giving them the utmost props.
I love them on the tour, but I think it was because not that people were like talking about her or her performance.
It wasn't anything
It was more so
bad.
we've never seen Beyonce like just not like, you could tell she was like, what the heck is going on? Like, why is this happening? Like, she was visibly like confused.
they forgot to put her mark down.
Yep.
And she was looking for it.
But we done seen Beyonce fall. We done seen a fan almost snatch Beyonce wig off. What are y'all talking about?
Get back up.
I feel like these last like what was the Renaissance tour? Renaissance tour was even the couple of hiccups. There was a little hiccup on the Renaissance tour where she was on top of, I think it was that truck. But that came and went. But like this happened, and then there was an issue with her glove. They were trying to put her glove on.
She's still a little human.
Yeah,
she was
that.
She's still
She was annoyed with that as well.
Right.
But I don't know. I think it's all good press. Of course, as of right now, her team has not responded at all to the reports of the cease and desist, as they normally don't do. So I'm not surprised that they
Are
didn't.
you going to Cowboy Carter?
I don't know. If I plan to, I'd be down to go though.
Okay.
You going?
I don't know. I might go. There's so many tours going on. I know who I'm going to go see. Chris Brown. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Chris. And also, it's Adele's birthday and Craig David. Y'all remember Craig David?
I do. He inspired Drake. That was Drake's big homie.
I don't know how we got here.
That was Drake's big homie.
Ain't the one that be like, and we be making love on Wednesday, and on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we still on Sunday.
How did that inspire Drake?
Because Craig David is from Toronto, and
nice.
if I'm remembering this correctly, Drake said that one of Craig David's albums was inspired him.
I love that you know a Drake fact.
And it's not a hater one either.
It's not. I love that.
Crazy.
It's about to go there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Watch this go.
Oh, it's no stab.
Okay.
And real quick before we close, because I know he's such a friend to the show and friend of you guys, Fat Joe posted over the weekend that his mom had passed away at age 77. So, just sending him some love as they, get through that hard time. He posted a really nice tribute to her on his Instagram, so go and check that out. Just talked about how amazing she was. They didn't have much, he says, but she made sure that they had everything. So
salute to Joey Crack, man.
Shout to Joey Crack, yeah. And the sad thing about Crack is, Fat Joe lost his pops like a month ago. Remember we reported that he lost his brother like 4 months ago. So if you know Joe, give him a call, give him a hug, send him some love. Love you, Joe, if you're listening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And listen, I just want everybody to know that this building that we're currently in stinks.
It does.
I don't know what the hell is going on, okay, but it really, really, really smells in here. It smells like a retainer in the morning. You know when you sleep with your retainer in your mouth?
My
and you
God.
take your retainer out?
Ew.
Oh,
I
y'all
never really smelled it.
It smells like they haven't taken took the garbage out in a couple days.
That's exactly what it
like
smells
sewer.
like. Yeah, it smells like something backed up. That's what it really do smell like.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe the edibles just cut everything off for me because I'm like, I don't know. I've been smelling like food I've been eating and stuff.
Oh, you are celebrating Cinco de Mayo.
Yo, eating edibles has nothing to do.
What you mean?
Cinco de Mayo. I haven't drinking anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that, yo. I'm not Mexican, yo. I don't do that.
They like
did
that.
go
To court today,
a couple
'cause
times
I
this
would've been
morning.
I know because they
celebrating.
be like, andale.
Salute to everybody. Salute to everybody who does smell their retainer in the morning, man. That keeps you humble.
All right, well, let's get to the mix. Of course, we're going to play a lot of Chris Brown in the mix because today...
It's Chris Brown's birthday.
Jesus Christ. All right. It's the Breakfast Club.
You have to call the ice. That's the ice bat signal. Keep it up.
Wake up. Wake up. You're locked into the Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's EJ, NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. I want to salute to everybody I seen out in Tequila Fest in Atlanta. I had such a good time. There's like 7,000 people out there. So I just want to salute to everybody that came out and promoted Compton. And then I went to...
So it's called Tequila Fest?
Tequila Fest.
The Mexicans, they were getting sneaky this year. They don't want to just call it... They don't want to say it's a Cinco de Mayo celebration.
They said Tequila Fest. Tequila Fest. And then I went to Moline in Illinois, which is like Quad Cities. I seen Boosie out there. Boosie said he wants to come to the show and talk a little bit too.
Salute to Boosie.
And then I seen Ric Flair.
Yeah, you did.
Oh,
You did.
yeah.
Ric Flair. You know the woo!
Yes. Did he do it when he saw you?
It was more like
it wasn't
well,
one.
Ric Flair's tired.
Okay.
First of all, Ric Flair is goddamn... How old is Ric Flair? Ric Flair is 76 years old, man.
You better not be walking up to nobody's stuff. So
he was in the airport.
All the oxygen.
Yeah, I was like, I walked out, I said, woo! He said, woo.
Man, leave Ric Flair the hell alone.
Salute to Ric Flair.
You do realize it is a bunch of ICE agents today looking to ruin people's day. Y'all do know that. I'm not even joking. I know we've been making jokes all morning.
Agents, what's wrong with you?
Because it's Cinco de Mayo. They waiting for all of these gatherings, and they waiting for everybody to just pop out and
they
celebrate.
They at least wait till tomorrow. They better not roll up at nobody.
They are definitely. I guarantee you tomorrow you're going to hear about raids that happened at Cinco de Mayo parties because of ICE. I'm telling you.
One thing about Mexicans, though, they real smart, and they already know. They sitting in the bushes waiting to see. Because, look.
What are you talking about?
That's why they call it Tequila Fest.
Waiting to look at the trucks and look at the ICE agents going, because they know they sitting outside of all the bars.
Damn.
So they just in the bushes waiting like, look, we see you. We see you before you see us.
All right. Okay.
Oh, look, real quick. Random Chris Brown fact or whatever.
Yo.
What?
Never mind. Go ahead.
Random Chris Brown fact. Remember he was in Stomp the Yard and everybody was mad because he died within like the first 10 minutes of the movie. They couldn't afford to keep him for the whole movie, so they killed him off. But the selling point for Stomp the Yard was Chris Brown, and that's the reason why everybody went to go see it. But that's how we found out that Columbus Short was a good actor.
Okay. I like random Chris Brown facts. That's cool.
Thank you.
Yes.
And since y'all wanted to be quiet about it and ain't want to care about the Chris Brown fact, go to my YouTube for never before seen footage, y'all. Y'all can see the Jess With The Mess there before anybody else gets to see it. Y'all can see clips of my daughter and things that Shaw didn't even know about me. Behind the scenes of The Breakfast Club, and then me editing behind the scenes of Jess With The Mess and Jess Fix My Mess and all of that. So yeah, run it up and subscribe to Jess Hilarious Official Baldy. Yeah, Jess Hilarious Official. Not Jess Hilarious Official Baldy, but Jess Hilarious Official on YouTube.
It's time to get up out of here, Charlamagne. You got some positivity for the people?
I do, man. And I want to tell folks, too, make sure you go out there and pre-order the Icon Living, man. Her name is Dawn Staley. She's got a book coming out on May 20th called Uncommon Favor, Basketball, North Philly, My Mother, and the Life Lessons I Learned from All Three. I am holding the book in my hand. What I love about this book, the back cover is literally made from the skin of a NCAA Wilson basketball.
Dope.
Yes.
Damn. No, that is dope.
Yes. So make sure you go out there and pre-order Dawn Staley's new book. It'll be out on May 20th. Salute to Dawn Staley. Happy born day to Dawn Staley, too. Yesterday was her born day. Happy belated, Dawn.
And wait a minute, guys. For Mother's Day weekend, I will be in Detroit at One Mic Comedy Club this Saturday. We got 3 shows. We have an 11 a.m. brunch, an early evening show at 7, and then a late night show at 9:30. Your girl, Jess Hilarious, and your guy, Desi Alexander, will be there. Get your tickets at JessHilariousOfficial.com. Bring your mothers, your aunties, your grandma, your sisters, all that, because it's Mother's Day weekend. So can't wait to see y'all. Detroit, what up, though?
Oh, and the positive note is simply this. Your body, okay? Your body, what are you laughing at? Could you shut the hell up? Your body doesn't just reject food. It also rejects energy. If your body starts rejecting certain places, people, and things, trust it and listen. Have a great day.
Breakfast Club, bitches!
Y'all finished or y'all done?